Welcome back. 9 years ago, I had a total ankle replacement, and while traveling, my ankle failed. So, what does that mean? That means all the hardware has to come out and the ankle has to be reconstructed. And so, I looked at doing this in the United States versus, flying back to the States, doing it in one of the facilities that I'm really well aware of, or doing it in a different country. And when I did all the research, when I put it all together, it boiled down to two things. First, cost. In the US, if I'd have done it and paid out of pocket, it would have been somewhere between $40,000 and $45,000. In Istanbul, Turkey, which is where I ended up having it done, it was 11,500. Now that 11,500 included all things. It included not just hospitals, doctors, all imaging, all pre-op and all of the follow-up appointments as well. And additionally, I live in hotels, so I don't have a house. I don't have anybody traveling with me. It included transportation back and forth to the hotel, to and from the hotel, for not only the surgery but all follow-up appointments, which was amazing. And then the second thing that was critical was the fact that as a healthcare professional for 40 years, being in and out of different hospital settings, I can tell you, I know what good healthcare looks like, and this was amazing healthcare. And what it did for me was it just absolutely changed the way I think about retirement travel going forward. So what do I mean by the fact that this changes retirement travel for me? I think I'd always thought, given my background, and again, I have a lot of experience in cardiac care as well as orthopedic surgeries, and I know what good healthcare looks like. So I always thought that if I had a complex procedure I needed, that I would fly back to the States and take care of it, with an institution back in the States, with a physician I could research, all of those things. I think we all think about that as we travel full time. What I experienced through not just my research and going up to this procedure, because I looked at Bangkok, Thailand, I looked at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I looked at Istanbul, Turkey, and I would have been happy with any of those locations. It wasn't one or the other. It was just happened to be that I was going to be in Istanbul, and I was very comfortable with the physician. This is a complex surgery. The I've already had multiple surgeries on this foot and ankle. I've had many screws and all kinds of stuff put in and out, and the final thing that was 9 years ago was a total ankle replacement. And that thing, it's not an arthroscopic procedure. It's got to totally be opened up. And I live on the road. I live in hotels full time. So how do I manage all of that? And what I experienced going through this was, yes, there's things that I anticipated, having gone through a lot of these kinds of procedures, that I could prepare for. But there's a couple of things that I would have probably done a little bit differently. But that's not what this is about. What this is about is understanding the fact that there is no now automatic, I have to go back to the States for complex care. I have the opportunity to do that. We as travelers have this opportunity to do these surgeries. And I'm not talking about just general procedures, appendectomy that are emergent and those kinds of things. I'm talking about when you need complex scheduled care. You can do these in other countries. And that's what, to me, I walked away from this experience with. And I want to tell you why. And I think it doesn't go back to just a crapshoot either. It goes back to a process. And if I can share with you the process, I feel that you can take this and embrace it as well as you go through your journeys. Hi, my name is Jeff. I retired, sold everything, and packed a couple of bags, and I'm traveling the world just trying to suck less each day. So, what do I mean by process? Process is the same process I would use in the United States. I would look at the facility and I would look at the physician. Because when you're doing a complex procedure, you may not be going to somebody local. You may be going to an institution that's well known for that type of procedure. Or you may go seek out a physician who's a top physician in that area, in that field, and just simply, no matter where they are, go to see them. And that's the way that I approached it, as I traveled. I looked at the three cities that I had identified, and said, hey, look, so I'm going to look at the facilities, I'm going to look at the physicians. So, first, you know, locally in the US, or when I say locally, I mean in the US, we have Joint Commission as the accrediting agency. And that's the basic standards, the audit that occurs, the evaluation that occurs on a regular basis to ensure that those every hospital is meeting a standard that has been set and can be supported. That's the same thing we take for granted in the U.S. Now, what I experienced as I started looking around the internationally was that same thing happens in other parts of the world. Joint Commission has an international arm which deals with many parts of the world, and that's an accreditation that if they've got it, that's fabulous. That's a minimum standard that's very similar to what we have in the United States. There's other institutions or other agencies that accredit facilities as well. Just think about it in terms of if you've got an international hospital or if you've got a private facility that, you know, ask your surgeon, ask the staff that you're engaging, ask them what the accreditation is for that facility that you're going to be treated at, because that will be a minimum standard that you're going to be comfortable with. Second, the physician, and by extension, the staff that you're going to be interacting with. First of all, I think it's pretty critical for anytime you're having surgery. It's complex. It's emotional enough. It's typically it's not something that you're really wanting to, definitely not wanting to have happen. And sometimes you're having to make a lot of emotional decisions in a relatively quick period of time. And it's important to, when you're having an engagement with the physician or with the staff, that you're able to get all of your questions answered so that you're more comfortable going through the process. And that means as much as you can get a physician that speaks, fluent English, or at least enough English for you to be able to understand, to be able to have a conversation with them, then you're going to be set up for success because you're going to feel much more comfortable, no matter how good a doc is. If you can't engage with them, there's still going to be a question in your mind. So I would, I would suggest that, and it's a bonus if they've actually done some training in the United States or they've done some fellowship or something like that in the United States, which would be fabulous. And then, by extension, the staff. If you've got staff, the hospital staff is going to be much more have at least a little bit of English if it's an international hospital or a private hospital where they see a lot of travelers. uh, if you're going to interact with the physician and his staff, that's great. If they speak English, that's great. But they're not going to be around all the time, so you're going to have stuff happen throughout the day. And, you're going to be wheeled around for X-rays, or you're going to be whatever the imaging might be, whatever the blood work might be. You're going to have all those things occur. You want to be able to at least have some conversations, get the basics across, and that's just one of those things that I think if you can get the physician and staff and then the facility dialed in, I think you're going to feel like much more comfortable as you go through this process. So I think the next thing I want to just touch on is the care that I received in the hospital, because I've had 8 or 9 surgeries, a couple of spinal fusions, as well as the different foot and ankle procedures. And so I'm very comfortable being knowing what it's like being a patient. But professionally, having been in multiple hospitals around the entire United States, I'm very comfortable understanding what typical care is as well. And I just want to draw a comparison, not good, bad, or otherwise, just a comparison. As a solo traveler, if you're coming into the hospital, you're going to need somebody to check you out. In the United States, you're not going home without somebody to sign you out. And that is different when you're traveling internationally. You don't necessarily have to have that person, specifically because the transportation is built in to the procedure that I had done. If I would have done it in Thailand, same kind of thing, where you're picked up at the hotel and then you're taken back to the hotel. No one is shuttling you back and forth. No one is there. So for a solo traveler, super critical to have that component figured out. And then, second of all, as a professional, I was, and again, I think we in the United States are very used to having, going in early. You're not going to your room typically. You're going into pre-op, and you're, getting IVs drawn, IVs started, and other things done. The doctor comes in and sees you and do all those kind of things. They took me into the hotel room, or the hospital room, so that I could get a bag and everything, and so I could get all set up and comfortable before that all existed or took place, which was great because then I felt comfortable getting started, knowing that everything once I got back was going to be all dialed in. So I went down and wheeled in, and again they didn't start IVs ahead of time. This was all done in the OR, which is a little bit different in the U.S. But I can tell you, having been in many ORs around the United States, this OR was sleek. It was, I mean, knowing what each piece of equipment does and knowing what, our typical ORs look like and what I saw there, this was pretty slick. And so I was very encouraged by that, from that standpoint. And then, through the procedure and then out of the procedure, went up, and then got started in the next 24 hours of, getting recovered to the point where I could be then taken back to the hotel. And I think that's the piece that's just a little bit different through this process that we don't have in the United States. And then, of course, all of the follow up appointments. I went in for checks every 3 days, bandage checks every 3 days, and they did all of that stuff for me. There wasn't like take this whole big bunch of stuff home and do your own bandage changes and those kind of things. Fabulous. I was picked up, taken to the doctor's office, and then brought back. Fabulous care. So here's what nobody prepares you for. Your body doesn't stop needing care as you travel. Yes, we all go through the pre work of making sure we've got the right insurance coverage, making sure that, we've identified medical homes for like our general docs or our oral health care or whatever you might need that's sort of that general stuff to get your appointments taken care of on a routine basis. And even if something emergent comes up, you're able to take care of it. But I think what we don't always consider is getting the complex care in some of these different countries. And having identified what we can use as a process for evaluating if that's necessary is great, because what that means is that 45,000 or 40 to 45,000, which would have been my medical home in the United States for complex care, is now 11,500. It includes all the extra stuff that we would have been charged for in the United States, the follow-up appointments, medications, all of those kinds of things. Now I am confident, having gone through the experience, that I can do specific medical care that's complex in another non-US location. And I think for you, my question becomes, is this something that you've thought through? Is giving thought to doing complex care outside the United States something that you've evaluated, or is this something that you still feel that, the comfort level of going back to the United States is drawing you to? Or have you challenged, your thought process, or you just always assumed that you would go back to the States? So feel free to leave a comment below if you've got any questions or concerns that I can help address, given that I'm, now 1 week out post surgery, and I'm going through the boring part of, icing and elevating my ankle and watching nonstop Netflix. Please feel free to reach out, because I'm always willing to ensure that you have all the information that I can help, be transparent about giving to you, as we go through this together. And as always, be curious, be brave, and suck less each day. See you down the road.